All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. All right. Let's get out of this real quick here. Hello, folks in the chat room. Welcome back. And yes, I am back. Oh, yes, I'm back. And here's our loop for today. This is June 14th, 2023. And not much going on, but there is this event right here. Now, not all these objects interact with the sun. Some of them pass by in the solar wind, and you can see this one right here passing by. So, not a lot of activity off the sun today, but we did catch one little object kind of swinging by there. I pray for you, sweet Jenna. Okay, I saw your comment. All right, so not much to really report on the sun here right now. Just this one little object moving by, and you can see its little magnetic field going along with it here. See how it's creating this little, has like little wakes coming off of it, like a little bow shock type coming off of it here. Let's go a few frames before. Right there, you can see our little object right here in the center. Actually, you know what, I'll zoom in on that for us. And pull it up. Okay, so here's your little round object right there. Nice round black object. You can see its little magnetic field around it here. There seems to be a second one, baby, right there. Anyways, and it didn't cause a CME or anything. It just passed by the sun. It did cause a little, the solar wind coming off the sun drapes around this and causes it to show its magnetic field. So there's your little object. Not much for today, but we do have all kinds of other stuff to report on still, so don't go anywhere. So as this little object moves on out, you can see little spurts and sputters over here going on. That's another object, really, right there. You can make it out, but not much to look at. So, and that's a regular flare right there. That's what they should look like. This is a good example of what a solar flare should look like, or a CME should look like. And it even has like a little tiny object in it. Let's see. All right, now let me hit this loop one more time. Okay, so you can see these. Yeah, there's two little ones right there. So you see these right here and right here. Those two little ones move out. This one over here in this corner. So not much activity, nothing big to report on, thankfully. So that's a little bit of good news right there. Let's just come on over and get the solar report done, because there is some more vital information that the Lord wants you guys to hear. Let's zoom in on this just real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Pull it up. There we go. Okay. Look at how quiet today was. Nice and quiet. Boom. This little box is today. We're already partially into tomorrow, which is now the new today. Okay. And we've already had some kind of, well, today ended on an event, and then there seems to be a new event starting in the next day, the new today. And we're currently undergoing one and coming out of it right here at the end. So maybe we'll take a little sneak peek at this and see if we can see what's going on in this event right here a little later on. Give it time to get loaded up. 5% X flares right now. All sunspots are either alpha or beta, which is good. They're still showing this huge solar filament, or this filament eruption right here, and it goes clear up out of the page. So you're not seeing all of the data there. And that's the one I showed you the other day that connected with the object that passed by. Let's come over here to our auroras. It looks like we're taking in some moderate energy right now. The auroras are glowing pretty good. Still pulled off to the side, but whatever. Not too bad. It's not yellow or red. So these auroras are not only just, pretty to look at or whatever, they're also an indication of the radiation that the planet is getting bombarded with and absorbing. Okay, so that's why I bring you over here sometimes to this, and we always look at this because I want to take a good look at how much radiation is, being diverted to the poles. Okay, and it's medium right now. You see this little chart over here, it's really light. You see the yellow and the reds. There's no yellow or red, so that's good news to report there. Okay, pretty mild right now conditions. Let's open up this tracker, see if it's anything on there for us. Doesn't appear to be, because there wasn't really much coming at us today. I was just kind of hoping they'd have data from the previous one that is headed our way. Nope. Okay, back out of that. There's your, that's an old picture of AR-3327. They haven't updated that, so, okay, we're done with that instrument. Let's come on over here to the null school. Just bear with me for a second here. We're a little slow today. Okay, here we are at our Typhoon by Parjoy, and it is now making landfall at India right here. Okay, you can see the white line right here. This is the coastline of India. Okay, here's the eye of the storm. Okay, and this is the intensest region right here. I'm going to put the winds back in there, and you can see that India is just getting lashed, just getting pummeled by this thing. And it's been like 3 days now straight, or 4 days now, of this area just being pummeled by this typhoon that is still offshore. It still has not made landfall yet. The eye hasn't, at least. Okay, so while we're here, what was it? Oh, so let's go up to our polar vortexes, okay? I'm going to pull back. I want to show you the polar vortex for the northern hemisphere, okay? It's no longer a polar vortex. It's all this backward flow now, okay? You can see the little bit of turbulence up here around the North Pole as it's starting to establish its center of rotation. I mean, can you see it establishing its center of rotation? There's just this last little bit of turbulence in this area, in this little region. The rest from here down to the equatorial flow, from here down to the equatorial flow, all the way around has now filled in. Okay? If you look at all this, sorry, entities creeping right up behind me while I'm doing this. So here's your backwards flow going across the United States, all right? While we're here too, please, Lord, let this work. I want you to look at how powerful the southern polar vortex is. I mean, it's just like out of control. It's huge. And it's reaching all the way up into, parts of South America now. This is the polar vortex reaching up into South America now. Now, this blue boundary right here, let me pull it over to this side where we got a good shot of this blue boundary down below. Everything north of that blue boundary is all flowing this direction now, okay? Everything down here is just in this very intense vortex going the other direction. So we have quite the setup going here. So now that we're at this juncture, wait, I want to take them back to this. Okay, so now we're going to drop down to our upper uh, jet stream, our upper jet. Okay, so here's our upper jet stream, just all gnarly and all tangled and everything because of this new backward flow that's causing it to buckle and dip and everything like that, right? Where's America? Okay, look here. Let's go in a little tighter here on America and look at our flow. It is atrocious, bizarre, going berserk. It's like all over the place. Look how intense it comes off the Gulf of Alaska. Is now just slamming down the northwest, right down California, and then going offshore from California all the way out to here just to do a U-turn and come with a hot cocktail right at Baja, Mexico, Texas. We had our event today here in Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. Tomorrow's event is going to be probably off the hook. We'll have to go look at our inbound energy as well. But I want you to see our upper jet and this cocktail mix that we have set up. And look out how it splits here and gets really intense over like Virginia, Washington, New York area. This thing is setting up for something. So watch out. If you saw today's tornado activity, there were a few tornadoes, but a lot of the activity got smashed down and turned into derechos. And we had a derecho that was moving at 80 miles an hour that turned the day to night in 5 minutes. So watch out for tomorrow's weather all through the south here. Okay. Now while we're here, and I'm thinking 3 days, tomorrow or now will be the 15th. So let's back out of this. Go to the 12th because that's the 3 days it takes from the sun to get to Earth. And let's see what happened on the sun on the 12th. Oh shit, that one. The arrival of this object, and to this as well. Oh man, am I gonna be busy? Yeah. Well, bring it on. Wow. Okay, so we are basically just looking at this. We already covered this the other day. We're basically just looking at this to see what kind of inbound energy we will be receiving tomorrow. This coming off the northern part of the sun. All right, this is not heading straight up away from the sun. It's actually coming out of the page, like towards the camera, just over your head. If you would duck and this thing would go right over your head, okay? So it's going to affect the northern hemisphere with all this energy. When we do tonight's forecast here, let me pull this up real quick. We're not there yet. I just want to give you a reference. When we do tonight's forecast here, the 15th is going to have, let's just do it all over here real quick. I want to see the end of convection on the 15th. That's noontime, right here. Go back. Come on, instrument, cooperate. Oh, now it's not cooperating. Anyways, the point I was trying to make here, there we go, is when we do this weather report tonight, the 15th, here we go. This frame right here, this is the end of convection tomorrow. This is going to be a lot more intense than what it's showing, all right? These guys were down here today. They're traveling 14 hours to come back to here for tomorrow's event. So this whole region, we'll cover this later, but this whole region expect to have your thunderstorms intensify, even the ones down here. Anywhere there you're going to have thunderstorms tomorrow, expect them to be a little stronger because of that inbound energy that I just showed you. Do you guys understand? Do you can you grasp this concept? It's very important that you do, because this is what's going on. Okay, this is what's happening. All right, now I got to back out of this and go back to our null school here. Please, Lord, let this work. Okay, so we're going to back out of this a little bit. Now we know that tomorrow this hot cocktail mix right here is going to be intensified. All right, so that's what I'm trying to tell you, is this area that's all... Get out of here for a second. I can't give you the sense of urgency enough. I mean, I really want to be screaming through this microphone, pulling my hair out, jumping up and down, going, wake up, you people, you're going to have your ass handed to you tomorrow. Okay? So, if you know people in this area, warn them about the weather tomorrow, and look at how it tears away and goes right up here and is very intense. Let me take the wind out of here for a second. Do you see how it's intense purple right there? Okay, and that's already without the inbound energy considered in this model. Okay, so hold on tight tomorrow. Yeah, New York, Washington D.C., the East Coast. This can shift. If this shifts by just a frog hair, that's 1,000 miles on the coastline. So it could be anywhere along the East Coast now. Okay, so watch out the South and the East Coast tomorrow. Your thunderstorms will be intensifying, regardless of your prayers and everything else. We we do still have side effects from these inbound objects. It just where are we going now, Lord, with this? Okay, so wait. I want to go right here. I want to take one last look at this typhoon, and then we'll finish up with some the sulfur dioxide. It's just going nuts, so we need to take a peek at that too. All right, so here we are at India, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to position that right there, and then we're going to... Their forecast model here, we're going to goes in 8-hour segments. So, okay, we're going to step ahead 8 hours. There, now it makes landfall in about 8 hours from right now, because here's the eye. See the center of the blue eye crossing that white line. So there's landfall 8 hours from now. I don't want to do the math and find out what time their local time is, but I can just tell you 8 hours from now, according to this model, is when this model is expecting landfall. Then let's take it another 8 hours. You can see it move in. You see this? Well, there's a little point here, this little bay. It actually goes right to the tip of that bay. Then it's still intense as it goes inland. This is going to fuck up in India. Pray for these people. Oh my gosh. It's all right. Let me pull back a little bit so you can get a reference here. Let me take this out of the way a little bit. So this is about a day in, about 24 hours. India's going to have a big fat black eye, and there's nothing they can do about it. That's a monster, and it was being affected up at the upper jet here. Yeah, you can still see it in the... It still has a vortex. Ooh, look at this vortex next to it right here. Wow. So whatever I feel like there is something above that's causing this down below. Okay. Uh, it's this configuration is just odd. This vortex is giving it inflow as well. Hmm. I guess this might be a long-lasting, long-tracking typhoon because it still has energy feeding into it. See this inflow coming off the ocean here and crossing India. This is still moist air that's going to come up into this typhoon while it's over land. And then look what's right above it. All this hot cocktail mix. So no telling what this thing's gonna do. Let's just keep jumping forward and see what their oh, I need to go back down lower. Let's just see what their forecast it kind of goes as far as where they anticipate this thing going. So it starts to dissipate after like 2 days of being inland. And it goes right through the middle, right across the heart of India, right through the middle of it. All right, so, all right, enough of that. Now let's go. Whoops. I want to. Okay, take the wind away. Take it this way. This is India's their SO2 emissions from underground right now. So not only do they have problems from above, they have problems from below as well. And it has like perfectly carved out the nation of India. It's like it's painting right inside the lines. Okay? Then we come over to China, who's just about to catch on fire from underneath. Okay? This country is going to be in hot water, hot lava, hot gas. They have no idea what they're doing in the spiritual realm, and they are going to pay dearly. Same with this region. Look at this peppered shotgun blast effect over Europe. Just all these little sites. Bing, 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 all over. Here, let's go a little tighter so you can just see there. And it's not like one plume that's blowing around. These are all individual sites. Each one's, producing strong or small, but they're all just individual sites. If you didn't know you were looking at Europe and you just kind of like close your eyes for a minute and you open up your eyes and you saw this image, what would you think that is? A slab of bloody meat or something? If you didn't know this was a map and you were, you just tuned in and you were looking at this image, what would you think this is? That is the SO2 emissions coming out from Europe. Okay, now let's come on over to America. Holy, what the? Get this green circle out of there. What the heck? Okay, do you see this defined line right here where most everything this side is nice and clear and everything this side is spewing? Look at this spiral effect. This East Coast storm has taken this sulfur gas and made it swirl like a big eye. Look at this. This is nuts. What the eye of God is on the East Coast. So, okay. Back to my composure here. It looks like a bad rash. That's so true. That it is. It is a bad rash. That is a spiritual rash on our country right there. And we have a bad case of criminal politicians. Oh my goodness. You see a bunch of faces in there. It wouldn't surprise me because there's the spiritual realm is just like inches away. It's like millimeters away. It is so. It's already here. You guys just starting to see it. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you're seeing them, that's probably because they're there. They're all over the place now. Okay. Now back to where I was here. Still just kind of amazed at how it's swirling and it looks like a sulfur storm, doesn't it? Like a land hurricane of sulfur dioxide, which it is. It's a land hurricane of sulfur dioxide. That's what it is. Look, see? Nuts, huh? It's looking at you. Look deep into the eye. The eye of God. Oh my. Okay, let's move on. Now, something else is serious. Let's get back to being serious here. As if that wasn't serious enough. Um, we have the sulfur emissions up here where our fires have been going off. All right, those fires were started underground because heat from the magma is pushing gas out first, and then the heat pushes up sulfur or pushes the magma right up to the through the crust, and it starts trees on fire from underground. From the root structure, they burn from the root structure up. Never seen a forest fire burn the root structure, so it's got to be coming from underground. Has to be, and we know it is because this shows it. Then we look down here, South America. It's actually kind of chilled out a little bit. It still has its activity right on the coast, but it doesn't seem to be as bad as it used to be. Australia. Look at Australia now. This place used to be the clear place, but it's starting to have its little blossoms all over the place. And then, last but not least, the purple island of Java. The entire island is oozing SO2. Sulfur dioxide is just pouring out of this island and has been for a long time. We have Merapi volcano going off. My main concern is the volcano right here in this canal, or in this channel in between the two islands. Right in here is the son of Krakatoa, Anak Krakatoa now, and that's the big one that went off earlier, that did the big blast. This pressure underneath could cause more volcanic activity in here. Okay, this is pressure pushing the gas through the perforations in the crust. Period. Now, I want to come over and do one other little one quick here. This is SO4, sulfur quad oxide. We had dioxide. This one has two more oxygen molecules or atoms to make the molecule SO4. The white shows the intensity of it. It comes from the ground. It's man-made as well, but neither one of those matter because what matters about this gas is its willingness to bond to water. It likes to bond with water, and when it does bond with water, you take SO4 and you mix H2O with it, you get a compound called H2SO4, which is better known as sulfuric acid. And you are going to have an atmosphere of sulfuric acid in the northern hemisphere pretty soon. Okay? Because the white intensifies, it keeps going. It's a runaway thing now. You can't reverse it. The bottom part of the planet isn't so bad. It doesn't have a bunch of white, but you see all this green and blue. That's still the gas. Here's a little segment where it's a little some weather system has probably pulled it down from up here, and concentrated a little concentration right down here. But you can see that this gas has circumnavigated the globe now. And like I said, it bonds with water. You get this stuff to bond with water up at higher altitudes with hail, and you're going to have little sulfur hails, little hail sulfur bombs that can crackle when you mix water and sulfur in a certain way. It can catch fire and be explosive. Okay, if you bond it a certain way, water mixed with sulfur can be explosive, and it'll crackle, snap, pop, burn, just like your sparkler in your hand. That's what's burning, is the sulfur, right? And a little bit of what's in the gunpowder. Okay, so let's get away from this, though. All right, enough of that. Let's come on over to the earthquake now. Map now, please, Lord. All right, I already had it kind of zoomed in on here. It's been pretty quiet around. Let me just pull back a little bit. See, not that much. Bear with me here. So you can see, been pretty quiet around our region. Okay, that's good. I love that. And our activities over here at the system, right? So let's start off with our deep quake right here. It was a 4.4 at a depth of 564. Hang on, let me get a sip here. So 4.4, 564. That's our deep quake. Then we have this one. Yep, this is the first little bit of energy entering the system right there after that quake at a depth of 10. Okay, this other stuff over here, close that out. That's a 4.5 at a depth of 36. I'm also time stamping these. Okay. So it looks like our energy from our deep quake here has entered the system. It has knocked off these two at least. And let's see what this one is. That one's a little older. So the 4.5 went off, entered the system here, already traveled down, set off this one and this one. That's an older one that was already there before that. See this one. That one's older too. Then we have our bigger quake for the day up here. Come on, pull it up. Here's our 6.2 at Huque, Philippines at a depth of 112. At that depth, I would say the surface, that's about a 6.34, maybe even a 6.5. All right, so this is a 6.2 down at depth, but not all the way down. It's like maybe 1/3 the way down. All right, well, a quarter of the way down. All right, so a semi-deep 6.2 right here, and that was after this deep quake. Yep. So our energy made it in the system, traveled up here, kind of skipped over this, set off this one, this one. These are older ones that were already sitting there. It traveled all the way up through here, kicked off this 6.2. Let's see what's going here. 4.4 at a depth of 28. And this is also after our deep quake. So our deep quake came in, traveled up, set off all these quakes all the way up to there. And is this, nope, that's older. Okay, and that's just a 4.2. So now for this region. After we had our deep quake here, we had these three 5-range quakes here, okay, at our spot yesterday. Let me pull this over a little again. Everything going good on my visuals. What's happening here? My camera's slipping or something. Hang on just a second here. noticed it wasn't the way I wanted it. Keep moving. Alright, that's a little bit better. Alright, sorry. Now back to where I was. Alright, now let's get to these quakes real quick. When we're looking at these quakes, alright, and you see this fault line running right here, this boundary line, I want you to imagine the Earth is like an egg being cooked from the middle out. Okay, so the middle gets hot and it expands and it's pushing outward in every direction from the middle out in every direction. So there's pressure welling up from below, and this is a crack already in the shell of the egg. All right, the egg is already starting to crack, and it has cracks in the shell. You're hard boiling an egg, you're cooking it from the middle out, and it's already overcooking. We have cracks in the shell, which are our boundary lines in our fault lines, and now the egg is starting to push up from underneath right by the cracks, right where the weak points are, and this is where we get our quakes. Here we have a 5.5 at a depth of 13.7. This is a 5.1 at a depth of 35. And then we also have a 5.0. All right, 3 magnitude 5 to mid 5 quakes. A little quake swarm going on. Even though we had this deep quake, these were, that one was before it, right here. That one's before it. That one's after it, but I think it was this one. That one's after it. So it was just this one right here that's before the deep quake. These other two are after it, but they're not the result from this deep quake. This is our own independent quake swarm that's going on, and it's going on right here next to this volcanic island right here. And as I pull back, hopefully, let's get it right about there. Pull down just a little bit so it's in your guys' best perspective. The island, I'm going to put this arrow right there. The island is right there where the arrow is. There is a circular type formation around this, all right? So this is the ocean floor. This is all pushing up. Everything from around this circular shape is pushing up in every direction to this point to make that island rise above the surface of the water. So we have a volcanic area right in here, and this is on the flank because this goes downhill into this valley. These quakes are on the flank of this. There is also, you can barely see it, but there's a seamount right here, right underneath that quake. There's all kinds of little seamounts around here. If you look, right next to the island, there's an underwater crater. You see that underwater crater right there that's already there? All right, so this is a highly volcanic area. There's another crater right down here. Okay, see that one? There's a crater. There's little ones right here. Here's your island. Here's the other crater right above it. Okay, so this is a volcanic complex right here. And we got these quakes on the downward flank of it. All right, so these could be indications we got magma rising in this area, and this thing might be getting ready to be a new vent and go off. Okay, and that's our quake report. Now let's move on over to our GFS model, and I want to, all right, right now this is frozen on the end of convection tomorrow. This is going to be our pop-up area all through here and down in here. Now let's back up just a tad bit. I want to get right to current conditions because we still have residual moisture down here in the south already that they were chasing all day today, all right? So I'm going to put this into motion, step aside for a second, say a prayer, have a cigarette, and I'll be right back to do it frame by frame. Bear with me just a sec, folks. I got a new soda. Where's my soda? And stick around for the spiritual report tonight. I'm going to talk about service and the Secret Service as well. I'll be right back. So, you guys get a load of that thing. So, let's just back up a little bit here. Time and date still in the corner and everything. Good. Alright. So, here we go. Current conditions, we still have residual moisture down here in Alabama, Georgia and stuff. They're still experiencing rain and stuff through the night, okay? Then as we go through the overnight hours into the morning, they still have pop-up thunderstorms ready to go in the morning here in Alabama, possibly, and in Georgia, okay? There was some weird weather today in that area. Then it moves out at noon. Here's the end of convection, all right? What I'm going to do here, give me this. I think it's 150. Yeah, there it is. Okay, that's as far in as I can zoom in on this map, but let me move this out of the way. I want you to take a look at where all your pop-ups are going to be. Back here in Oklahoma, all right, the Panhandle area. This is where the storm chasers are going to be. This is where they expect a lot of the main activity to be. We also have these scattered stuff going up through the Rockies, out into the plains up here. Still residual stuff in the Sierras. Over here, pop-ups there, up into Canada. Oh, Canada had tornadoes today. Congratulations, Canada. You guys are getting tornadoes now, too. So, we got to pray for them, too, as well. Now, back to where we're here. This region is going to be volatile tomorrow. This region is going to be very volatile tomorrow, as well as these pop-ups in here, okay? It can be anywhere anymore, all right? Tomorrow we have added energy that's coming in from our objects that came up off the sun. They're bringing energy with them, right? That's going to affect these storms and make them blossom even harder tomorrow, okay? So we need to pray hard tomorrow. I don't think we're going to be able to stop what's coming, but we could minimize damage and human life, and save some human life. Share this with people so they know that tomorrow is no joke for this region, the Alabama, Georgia region, even Florida, okay? And then this area back here, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, all right? This whole stripe right here is going to be different than what it looks like right now, okay? It's going to be stronger. I know it is. So we just got to Buckle down, pray, you guys. Pray for each other's strength and endurance. These people might be losing houses and their whole lives tomorrow if something happens. So basically, the world ends when you get hit with a tornado because everything that's your world is gone. You have to start all over from scratch. So, very important that we keep an eye on this tomorrow. Now, let's proceed into the midnight hours. It blossoms even more. Okay, so we have to watch out through this whole area. All right, even back up here into Wyoming. Okay, and look at Georgia with its little hot spot. Okay, so that's through the midnight hours. That's early morning. There's noon. The end of convection, June 16th, the day after tomorrow. Excuse me. Or the day after today now. Here we are. Here we are, East Coast, right here. Watch out for that event. I know he's coming for these people. So just watch out. Don't be in the way of God's handiwork. If you live in this area and you're around this region, he's coming after these people. You might want to get out of there. Okay. Uh, we got stuff back in Nebraska, again here in Colorado in the foothills of the Rockies again. Okay. That's for June 16th. Then we go into the midnight hours. It blossoms again. Unbelievable. Morning hours, noon. The end of convection, the 17th now. Here in Iowa, back in Kansas, down here in the south again. Look at this low wrapping up really hard right over New York. So then wow, it blossoms again overnight. Hello, Holly. Hello, everybody. Okay, so it blossoms really hard again here in Kansas, Oklahoma, and depending on what kind of energy we have coming in on the 17th, what's that today? Would be whatever came out the 14th would intensify this or nullify it. Okay, not nullify it, but it would be like this or more intense. Okay, these models, I think, don't take into consideration the added energy that comes inbound with these. There's Bruce Wayne. Yes, I was hoping you'd make it again, bud. Good to see you here. So back to where we're here. This event, watch out on June 17th. This is the overnight. This is the midnight hours. Okay, so let me back up one. This is the end of convection. And then it does this after convection into the midnight hours. Watch out for nocturnal thunderstorms, nocturnal tornadoes here in possible Missouri, Kansas, and in Iowa. Okay, that's on the 17th. Then as we proceed into the morning hours, still possible here in Arkansas. That's the noon hours here in Mississippi. There's the end of convection, June 18th, with this just really intense blob down here again at Alabama and Georgia. They just had their round today, and we're gonna see it again. So that's the midnight hours. At least it didn't blossom in the midnight hours. Look at this. That's the end of convection. Then it dies down. That's the way it's supposed to go. It's not supposed to blossom more at midnight. So that finally dies down into the morning hours here. That's noontime the 19th. End of convection the 19th. Still little pop-ups here, reaching up into the mountains here, down into the coast of Florida as well. Then we go the overnight hours, morning of the 19th, no, morning of the 20th. Noontime, and then convection the 20th, end of convection. That's kind of clear. There's just very minimal pop-ups. So the 20th would probably be a good day. That's overnight. Morning hours. Look at this down here in Florida, possibly. That's the noontime. Oh, look at this low wrapping up right here at the tip of Florida. That would be 2 to 3 p.m. out there, their time, June 21st, the longest day of the year. Okay, so the sun will be at the longest day right here with this event happening in Florida. Then it goes to, that's the end of convection right there. So it went from this at noontime to the end of convection, and you got quite the event going on here in southern Florida. Not too much up in here. There's a little pop-ups in there, but not too bad. Then we go into the midnight hours. Look at these pop-ups blossom now into the midnight hours here in Nebraska on the 21st. That's the morning hours, and it's still blossomed. Then we go, this is the 22nd now. Morning hours of the 22nd, or noon of 22nd. There's the end of convection on the 22nd. Possible here, whatever this is, wrapping up there. Little hurricane or something. Looks like a little nor'easter or something coming up the coast. Here we are. This is overnight hours. Now we're the morning of the 23rd. Noon. That's the end of convection on the 23rd, right here, bullseye, right in the middle of Kansas. Okay. Then it blossoms overnight. That's the morning hours of the 24th. Ooh, morning hours of the 24th. Look at this low wrapping up here up in Maine. So careful up there. Now, that's noontime, the end of convection on the 24th, right here. Nebraska, possibly up in there in Michigan. It blossoms overnight a little bit, dies out. That's morning, that's noon. The end of convection, the 25th, around the Great Lakes region, and over here on the coast, over here, up in Canada, up in here. Now, this is pretty far out, the model, so it's not as accurate. So, overnight, morning of the 26th, noon, and the convection the 26th, possible up here. Then we go into overnight. It blossoms again into Montana, even down into here. Okay, this is the night of the 26th, morning of the 27th, right there. Noontime, and then the end of convection on the 27th, possible right in here, Minnesota. That's what this model says. Then it blossoms overnight. Oh, you're in Montana? Okay, I love Montana. Been through Glacier National, Kalispell, went up to Pole Bridge. All right, so anyways, back to this weather report. Sorry, I was talking to somebody in the chat. This is 11 p.m., June 27th. This is the overnight hours. It blossoms from this at the end of convection to the overnight hours going into Michigan like that. Then that's the 27th. This is the morning time of the 27th. You'll still have residual thunderstorms there, possible. Noontime, 28th. Convection, the end of convection, 28th, not much. Finally, a day with not much at the end of convection. That's overnight, it blossoms a little bit, but nothing. Morning of the 29th, noon, end of convection of the 29th, here on the east. That's pretty far out, so then it goes offshore. That's the morning hours. There's noon. And the end of convection of the 30th. Okay, so we've got pretty clear there. So there's your loop. Now let me play it one more time and let it go through its little loop. You can see how these things pop up in the afternoon. Sometimes they even blossom overnight. Those are the ones we have to watch carefully. And then we have, so we have these round after round. So watch your thunderstorms as they blossom during the daytime. Keep an eye on them. You guys should start learning how to read the sky yourself a little bit. After watching some of these storm chasers, you should learn to know what a shelf cloud looks like and a wall cloud looks like, so you can interpret the weather in your region if it starts to blossom like this out of control in your region, you'll be able to look up and say, holy crap, I think that's a wall cloud forming. We might want to, get underground or take shelter or prepare to evacuate and get out of the area. All right. So it's important that you guys understand how weather works. And then through watching some of these storm chasers, and when they point out, go watch Dr. Tim Reed for a minute. He'll point out all kinds of different structures in the cloud and stuff that you guys need to learn about. So when that stuff starts happening in your region, you will be the local expert and know what to expect. Okay? And you keep coming here and I'll show you the influence from the sun coming in, and you can translate it to where you are on that day at that time. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do, is coordinate this so you guys can plan your days accordingly. Okay, so with that, now I think we will go into the spiritual part of the show. Yeah. Yep, I think we're all done with that. So, for those of you who are stuck around for that part, here we go. For those of you who are just here for the solar report and stuff, you can check out now if you like. I don't mind. I don't take it personally. If you guys don't want to hear the spiritual part, that's all fine with me. But for those that do, stick around because we're about to do that. Okay, so let's click out of there, and I want to come right here to this. All right, there we go. So what you're looking at is an image from the Book of Miracles. And have you guys heard about the Book of Miracles? It surfaced in 2007. It's a bunch of paintings that were depict what happened in 1535 from when the Dark Ages started. The last time we had a world cataclysm like this, and spiritual events were taking place. Okay? And how am I going to do this, Lord? Gently. Well, thank you. Let's just, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to watch some of this, and I'm going to give you some of these images in this first, okay? And a little bit of history about this book. Wait. Stop. Where's the problem? There's the problem. Let me get... there it goes. Alright, yeah, here, just check this out for a minute. Listen for a few minutes, and then we'll start doing some explaining here.
Especially as they're... The end of the world is not something we like to think about, especially as there are plenty of apocalypses to choose from. In 1552, an anonymous author captured his doomsday fears onto parchment. Known as the Book of Miracles, it is perhaps the world's most disturbing picture book, with scenes of calamity and chaos and eerie hybrids that defy logic. All were believed to be omens that the apocalypse was on its way. These mesmerizing images invoke a sense of dread, the kind of dread that arises from things we don't understand, with haunting creatures that inhabit our nightmares. Welcome to Strange Christian Art. This episode, The Little Book of Cosmic Horrors. The name of this book is The Book of Miracles. Now, this implies something pleasant or wonderful, but this book is far from that.
Note the faces in the sun.
Of disturbing visions, like the week in 1542 when the sky caught fire, or in 1550 when a pool of human blood bubbled from the ground. The sort of things that don't happen on the daily. Each one of these strange illustrations includes the year in which it happened and a very brief description. There is no attempt, however, at an explanation. But what is the purpose of this book? Why draw such disturbing images? It's believed that this book was a warning, illustrating omens believed to have been sent by God. Omens that suggested that the apocalypse was nigh. It might explain why so many of these pictures are comets. For millennia, comets have been seen as signs of bad luck. Like in the Bayeux Tapestry, which records the transit of Halley's Comet in 1066, the same year that the Kingdom of England was conquered by the Normans. If you look closely at these illustrations, you can see silhouettes of collapsing cities in the background. The origin of this book is just as intriguing as its contents. In 2007, it anonymously surfaced in an auction house in Augsburg, Germany. No one knows who wrote it or the journey it had been on up to this point. To me, it adds to the mystery, as well as its supernatural quality. The book has been dated to 1552, as after this year there are no further entries. It was written during a time of conflict and upheaval, as Western Christianity split between Catholics and Protestants, a period known as the Reformation. At the time, anxieties about the end of the world reached an all-time high. The book was probably commissioned in response to those fears, to keep track of God's signs throughout history, the types of signs that typically precede.
Okay, you guys noticing a theme with these halos and destruction of cities? A lot of these things we're seeing already. Okay. There's Noah's flood. Okay. It depicts Noah's flood. Burning cities. There's Sodom and Gomorrah. Here, let's put this back on.
Ari Inferno. There are other, less destructive scenes too, even one including the Old Testament's weirdest chapter, the Vision of Ezekiel. Perhaps familiar to viewers of the channel, it's a fantastical glimpse of God's throne. Accompanying him are two creatures. To the left, a winged hybrid with the heads of a human, an eagle, an ox, and a lion. To the right, an interlocking set of rings with eyes on the outer rim. In Hebrew, it's referred to as an ophanim, or the wheels. It's odd to see something so unnatural, yet so apparently holy. Perhaps it's the multiple heads and eyes that make them so unnerving. These mysterious angels are bizarre, inhabiting a plane beyond human comprehension. After exploring from the Bible, the book...
Okay, look at this painting right here. This is a painting of the planet with cities on it. See, this little spikes are like little buildings and stuff. Let me see if I can... There we go. And you can see there are fields and little buildings and stuff. And this side's in the daytime. You can see the shadows creeping. And then this side's in the nighttime. But somebody painted this back in the 1500s. So, let's continue on there.
The book records signs that have taken place throughout history, right up to the modern day, which in this case was the year.
Note the theme of faces on the sun. All these paintings, each time they show the sun, it has a face on it.
1552. Many of these are your classic doomsday omens. Volcanic eruptions, locust plagues, comets, they're your go-tos in apocalypse bingo. But then the book starts to get really, really strange, with illustrations of some highly unusual...
3 suns in the sky?
Like the orb of 73 BC, when a golden sphere suddenly appeared above ancient Rome. According to the description, it came on a fair bit of creative embellishment. Many images feature disturbances with the sun. In 1551, the sun allegedly multiplied into 5 over the town of Leipzig. This picture features the sun with a bright glowing ring, followed by the devastation you'd come to expect. Some illustrations have these eerie halos and ghostly rings that illuminate the sky. Strangely, there are accounts of this very same thing outside our book, like this painting from 1535 with rings over Stockholm, Sweden. The
This Just, here. Let me go
Still
back.
halos 1535 with rings over stock.
We have seen this kind of stuff, this kind of activity on Mr. MBB's channel. People have sent in photos of these very same rings around the sun with these other little spots and stuff. This is stuff that happens right before these cataclysms, all right? That's what we're seeing in our skies.
The celestial halos have a name, sundogs, and are a real atmospheric.
Okay, this guy wants to blame them on sundogs.
They occur when atmospheric ice.
Okay, so here's the sun halo and sundogs. Okay, I want to ask my audience a question. I'm not quite sure how old you folks are, but back when I was a kid in the 70s and in the 80s, I was outside all the time playing, and I never saw a sun halo, a sundog, maybe if it was in a cloud. But now there are sun halos, moon halos, there's all kinds of halos all over the place. This shit wasn't happening back in the 70s and 80s. All right, there's particles in our atmosphere now, more debris, more particles in our atmosphere because of volcanic activity, because of our pollution and everything, that now we're seeing these sun halos. They don't always happen. They didn't used to always happen back when our air was clean. Now you're starting to see them more and more because of all the pollution and all the sulfur that's in our air. This guy wants to blame this on these people were seeing sundogs and stuff. Well, yeah, they were. They were seeing precisely this stuff. That this is an indication of the other planet that's around. Okay, these other objects. I'm gonna put this back on. And you know what? Now that we've gotten to this point here, that's basically I wanted to show you some of these images. Now we'll get to this one. All right. Now this image, I should let him explain it, but it's basically was captured in the sky of this warrior in the clouds taking on a battle of, or taking on legions of these the bad guys, right? And, oh boy, how do I do this, Lord? You know what? Before I do this, let's just back up and let this finish off because I'm not ready to do that yet. Yeah, just a few more minutes of this video here. I just want you guys to see some of these beautiful paintings and look for some of these signs.
Have a name, sundogs, and are a real atmospheric phenomenon. They occur when atmospheric ice crystals refract the sunlight, creating an eerie halo illusion in the sky. Throughout history, sundogs have often been mistaken for divine activity. Who could blame them? We know far more about atmospheric signs than we did back then. Now, of course, most of these events don't have a rational explanation, like how a red warrior appeared in the sky, along with a floating crimson fortress and a shadowy army, or in 1533, when a ghostly horse appeared over Bohemia, with a nebulous rider climbing on.
Bohemia?
That was a particularly odd year for the people of Bohemia. Later that year, the sky was also swarming with dragons wearing...
With what? With dragons? Wearing crowns?
Crowns. A highlight for me has to be the cosmic baby battle of 1536, when three celestial infants appeared to be doing battle in the sky. One is wearing the Austrian coat of arms. The other two are dressed up like Ottomans, possibly a reference to the failed Turkish siege of Vienna in 1529. With all these ultra-strange events, it's doubtful whether they actually happened. However, at the same time, there's no way to prove that they didn't happen. I can dream.
Okay, so let's just leave it at this image right here for a minute. And, oh boy, how are we going to do this? Gently. Yes, I know, gently. All right, so, this lone warrior taking on the Shadow Army, okay? This is a kind of a symbol of what I'm doing. Because little do you guys know that in the meantime, when I'm not streaming live, I have a secret service that I do. And I'm basically a one-man army taking on legions of demons. I make combat overseas look like fucking romper room. I am one man. I don't have a gun. I don't have a bulletproof vest or a bulletproof helmet. A one-man army taking on legions of demons, being brutally assaulted, sabotaged, booby-trapped, ambushed, every second, every day. And I still just endure it because I love it. Okay, now I want to address another secret service, like the Presidential Secret Service. Something you guys need to know about that agency. They are the secret disservice to this country. For years and years and years, they've been protecting the criminals. They protected the Clinton criminal family. They protected Obama's criminal family. They protected Bush's criminal family. Now they're protecting Joe Biden's criminal family. See, one of the worst agencies out there is the Secret Service, because all they do is, supposedly they're going to dive in and take a bullet for the president, right? With a bulletproof vest on and a gun. Oh boy, that's real brave. Yeah, except they got caught with a bunch of prostitutes and a bunch of drugs. Yeah, these are the guys that keep American citizens from having access to our president. If the president had no security detail and the public had access to him, he would not get away with this shit. So, secretly, the Secret Service has been doing you a disservice by protecting these administrations. The good guys, well, you can't even trust the Secret Service to protect him. He has to get his own security detail. Huh. Imagine that. So not only are all the three-letter agencies on blast, but the biggest agency that's on blast right now is the Secret Service, because they are the agency that is stopping the American people from stopping this criminal. And since they have guns and badges on them and they refuse to lift a finger to stop this criminal administration, each single officer will be burning in hell for eternity, unless you have the balls to do something about it and take out this criminal element that is destroying this country. You fucking bastards took an oath to defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic, yet you sit there and protect the very person that's the threat? How dare you? All of the government agencies are going down to the pit of hell for eternity. I got special burning cells with fellow demon inmates that you can't run from. I'm putting these guys on notice. And I want the American public to start pulling their head out of their ass and realize who the real enemy of this country is. It's your own damn government and every single fucking agency in there. They all need to be cleaned out, audited, and exposed. especially the IRS. How come they get to go around auditing everybody, but they haven't been audited? Excuse me? This is of the people, by the people, for the people. This is not of the government, by the government, for the government. That's a bunch of bullshit. Taxation is theft. They take it out of your check. You don't just willingly go, hey, go ahead, have some of my money, please. No, they illegally take it out of your check. That's called theft. Yeah, your government's a bunch of thieves, liars, criminals, pedophiles, child traffickers, human traffickers, drug traffickers, warmongers. They start wars, they kill people, they're mass murderers. You got a bunch of homicidal maniacs running a country? Are you fucking kidding me? And nobody's going to lift a finger to do anything about it? Oh, well, there's nothing we can do. Damn right, there's tons of things we could do. If there was just one Secret Service officer with some balls to take out this man and his stupid little bitch sidekick, get rid of these freaking criminals, or else the sword will come down. The sword is coming down. You better just start cleaning your own house before the sword comes down. Now, my audience is very wise. I've been hearing your prayers. You guys are awesome. It's the rest of the world who's got this mentality, and they're going to have to straighten it out real quick here, okay? And I'm putting warning out there, okay? I'm sure you listen to everybody else's, you spy on everybody's chats and their texts and stuff like that. If you're not paying attention to my channel, you three-letter agencies, you got to be the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet. All right? And watch out. That's me right there. I'm a one-man army taking on legions of you assholes. I've done it for eons, and I will continue to do it for eons and wipe out every single demonic entity on the face of this planet. This is my planet. And you guys are going to learn the hard way. Okay? My audience is already lovely, and I love them dearly. So what I'm going to do here now is we're going to switch over to a lovely image of the spiritual realm because I'm saving this for some people. See these guys right here coming up against me? They don't stand a chance. Never did. You never will either. Because I am not just a YouTuber. Oh, cool. Let's address their commercials and their ads, shall we? I used to watch TV and I hated commercials, and I would purposely mute out the commercials, and I enjoyed YouTube because it didn't have a bunch of ads and commercials and stuff. Well, now anymore, you can't open up a video without seeing at least 2 ads. You used to be able to click out of one, but for some reason, tell me if you guys are experiencing this one too. The ad starts to play, but the frame freezes up, so you can't skip the ad, yet the audio behind it keeps playing the entire 4-minute ad, and they still get their ad in, don't they? Come on, YouTube. You guys make enough money off of all your YouTubers. You don't need to be selling out to these ad companies. And enough of the gay black men selling Astapro. Are you kidding me? It's called Astapro, and you have a gay black man pushing this drug on your ads. That's really what you want to go with, huh, YouTube? Duly noted. Okay. See this beautiful image? I am going to keep showing you this image all the time because this is a miracle. This is the prophecy come true. Okay? When Jesus arrives, you will see him coming in the clouds with power and great authority. Well, There's the clouds, there's Jesus, and there's a crown over his head, signifying power and great authority. Happened on Easter of 2020. Gee, there's no significance to that. The fact that it happened on Easter, you guys better sit there and wrap your head around this. Okay? This is real. I'm a real person talking to you with a real microphone right now. I am not a robot. No. Get my notes out. I didn't even pick out what I was going to read. Let's see here. All right, bear with me for a second. I'm trying to find something proper for you guys tonight. All right, here. Let me get a sip a little bit here. Okay. You are fully known. I know absolutely everything about you, and I love you with perfect, unfailing love. Many people are searching for greater self understanding and self acceptance. Underlying their search is a desire to find someone who truly understands them and accepts them as they are. I am the someone who can fully satisfy this deep seated longing. It is in your relationship with me that you discover who you really are. I encourage you to be real with me, dropping all pretenses and opening yourself fully to me. As you draw near, utter these inspired words. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. In the light of my holy gaze, you will see these things you need to change. But don't despair. I will help you. Continue resting in my presence, receiving my love that flows freely into you, through your openness to me. Ah, man, I can't even see my shit. Take time to let this powerful love soak in deeply, filling up your empty spaces and overflowing into joyous worship. Rejoice greatly, for you are fully known and forever loved. Okay? Hopefully that brings a little bit of hope, some peace, some joy to your heart. In times like this, okay, that's exactly what this is for. Because these times are bringing out the worst in people, and I want to see the best in people. When the tough get going, or when the going gets tough, the tough get going. The weak fall to the wayside. So the going is getting tough now. So it's time for you guys to pull up your bootstraps, toughen up, and keep going. Okay? You got to keep plugging forward. Each day is a new battle. Okay? And look, I'm doing. Oh, come on. Where's the other part of this? Where did it go? Oh, well. Something else I wanted to show you, too. After all that, I forgot to come to this. This painting right here. All right? I'm sure a lot of you have seen this before. It's a very famous painting. But take a look at it. It's just like these ones from the Book of Miracles. It's got a face on the sun. We've seen these spots, these balls all over the sky, right? UFO channels are capturing these long cylinders, right? We're seeing them on the radar or on the satellite. So we got the spheres, we got the cylinders, and if you look here in this right here, here's a cylinder that's filled with the spheres, and it shows the spheres coming out of the cylinders. So these cylinders actually have the spheres in them and release them. Okay, you see these arches right here behind the sun? Those are almost like our invisible objects, and when the sun drapes over the top of them, it illuminates part of it. You can see the illuminated arc of something big, big circular. You can just make out the top arc part. There's a bigger one black behind a smaller one red. Do you see this? There's a black arch back there. That's the top of a black spheroid, big one, with the sun shining just off the top of it. And then there's a smaller red one, and you're making the top of it out, right? And here's the sun, right in between them, right? This is the same activity we're seeing around our sun and in our skies. And look at these little crosses. There's little crosses. This is a divine event. Okay, then we have this huge sword or whatever this is. Okay, it's probably a huge ship. It's probably some weird black triangle shaped ship. And maybe it's two of them, one parked right behind the other or something. You know, if you put this little thing here and blocked them off, that would be two ships. One big one in the foreground and another one in the background. Can you see it now? And if you look over here in the corner, you can see some of these little balls have crashed to the ground, have caught on fire. Well, we're having UFO crashes right now, aren't we? With little beings running around. Where was that? Oh my gosh. A real event too, dude. It was funny because the cops were like, I'm feeling a little freaked out. Oh, are you? Well, you got a gun and a bulletproof vest, tough guy. Why are you feeling freaked out? It's just a little green man. Yeah, they're scared of the supernatural. A bunch of egotistical tough guys, but when something comes along that can actually challenge them, they turn and run like little pigs, squealing all the way home. So, you see this painting. Prepare to see this here pretty soon, okay? This is a cyclical event, and somebody recorded it last time, and don't be surprised when we see something similar like this happen again. Something else I want to point out to you too is a lot of these religious pictures, here's Jesus and Mary, whatever, there's UFOs associated with them all the time. Here's Mary and Jesus with UFOs in the background, right? UFOs follow Jesus around. This is from the painting of Jesus on the cross here. Here's this painting. Here, can we click on this to get it bigger? Oh, here it is over here. But you can see the crucifixion and these little UFOs flying around while he's being crucified. Here's a zoom in of the UFOs, all right? And we've actually captured this one before, and I've shown it to you a couple of years ago for my old audience. Remember, we saw this one. And actually, both of them. We captured both of them. That was a couple of years ago, too. So, there's all kinds of UFO activity associated with Jesus, all right? They follow him everywhere he goes. They watch him. They study him. These races want to study him and know what's up with the master, right? Okay, so that was about it. Yeah, that was it. I just wanted to show you that one last painting because it took me a while to find this painting right here. And I just wanted to bring that to you and remind you that we have a battle going on around the sun. Okay? Oh, I guess it's too far back. There it is right there. So yeah, I'll close out with that image right there. All right, and note how all these have faces on the sun. And I've shown you the face on the sun before that happened right when all this started. Okay, so that's it for tonight. I love you all. God bless you all. And I sure miss you guys. Be seeing you soon. And y'all have a good day. And I'll see you next stream. That's it. God bless. Bye.